The City of Lights just hosted the Olympics again, and like any good host, they threw a closing ceremony. Paris decided to go with a theme for the closing ceremony, and that theme was Hollywood. Yeah, you heard that right. The French, known for their chic style and sophisticated taste, decided to end the Olympics with a little bit of American pizzazz. The stage was set, the lights were dimmed, and the world was watching. Would they deliver a spectacle for the ages, or would it be a flop?
The expectations were sky high. The French are known for their artistry, their fashion, their food. Could they translate that into a 2-hour show that would captivate billions around the world? The pressure was on. Would we see a baguette-wielding Audrey Hepburn? A mime doing the moonwalk? The possibilities were endless. Adding Hollywood into the mix definitely spiced things up.
Act 1 kicked off with a bang, or should I say, a twinkle. The stadium was transformed into a shimmering cityscape. Think twinkling lights projected onto giant screens, mimicking the Parisian skyline at night. Dancers dressed as iconic Parisian landmarks, like the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe, glided across the stage. They were elegant, graceful, and thankfully, nobody tripped. The music swelled, a mix of classic French chansons and modern electronic beats. It was like a love letter to the City of Lights, showcasing its history, its beauty, and its undeniable charm.
Next up, it was all about fashion, darling. Paris is a fashion capital, and they wanted to remind the world of that. Models strutted down a runway, showcasing designs from both legendary French designers and up-and-coming talents. We saw everything from flowing gowns to edgy streetwear. It was a celebration of French style, from its chic sophistication to its rebellious spirit. The fashion segment was a visual feast, but it felt a little too long.
A toast to French cinema from Lumière to today. No celebration of Paris would be complete without a nod to its cinematic legacy. The ceremony paid homage to French cinema, from the pioneers like the Lumière brothers to modern-day auteurs. Clips from iconic French films flickered across the screens, reminding us of the country's contributions to the art of filmmaking. It was a reminder that French cinema is more than just romantic comedies. It's diverse, it's thought-provoking, and it's always stylish. However, this segment felt a little disjointed.
A symphony of sound, the music of France. The first act concluded with a musical extravaganza celebrating the best of French music. From the romantic melodies of Edith Piaf to the electronic beats of Daft Punk, the stadium was filled with a soundscape that was both familiar and surprising. A full orchestra shared the stage with popular French singers, creating a fusion of classical and contemporary sounds. The music was definitely a highlight of Act 1. It was upbeat, it was catchy, and it got the crowd going.
A sporting spectacle celebrating athleticism. Act 2 began with a shift in focus, shining a spotlight on the real stars of the show, the athletes. The athletes, who had given their all during the games, paraded into the stadium, their faces beaming with pride. We saw medalists basking in their glory, their hard-earned hardware glinting under the stadium lights. We saw athletes who didn't make it to the podium, but whose spirits remained unbroken. It was a powerful reminder that the Olympics is about so much more than winning. However, amidst the celebration of athletic achievement, there was a sense that the energy from Act 1 had waned.
From Seine to Seine, a river runs through it. The Seine River, the lifeblood of Paris, took center stage in the next segment. A giant projection of the river, flowing serenely beneath the bridges and past the iconic landmarks, dominated the stadium floor. Dancers, their movements fluid and graceful like the river itself, interpreted the Seine's journey through the heart of Paris. They twirled and swayed, their costumes shimmering like the water's reflection, creating a mesmerizing spectacle. While the visual spectacle was impressive, the narrative thread felt a little thin.
Section 3. Gastronomic Journey, a Taste of France. No celebration of France would be complete without a tribute to its other national treasure, its cuisine. The aroma of freshly baked bread wafted through the stadium as chefs, their toques perched proudly on their heads, took to the stage to whip up a culinary storm. Giant screens projected images of delectable French dishes, from escargots and foie gras to macarons and crème brûlée, tantalizing the audience's taste buds. However, the culinary segment, while visually appealing, felt somewhat out of place in the grand scheme of the ceremony.
Section 4. A World United, Passing the Torch to the Future. As Act 2 drew to a close, the ceremony shifted its focus outward, embracing the global spirit of the Olympics. Children from around the world, their faces lit up with hope and excitement, took center stage, symbolizing the future generation that will inherit the Olympic legacy. They sang songs of unity and peace, their voices echoing through the stadium, a poignant reminder of the power of sport to transcend borders and cultures. Yet despite the positive message, the transition to the Hollywood-themed finale felt abrupt.
And the Oscar goes to a Parisian production. Act 3 was when the Hollywood theme was supposed to take center stage. The stage transformed into a classic Hollywood soundstage, complete with towering sets, blinding lights, and enough fake rain to make no one nervous. Dancers dressed as iconic movie characters, from Charlie Chaplin to Marilyn Monroe, filled the stage. It was a visual smorgasbord of Hollywood history, but something felt off. The music switched to a medley of famous movie scores from Jaws to Star Wars. Where was the French twist, the unexpected element that would make this Hollywood homage?
Theme felt forced and out of place,
Lost in translation from French chic to Hollywood glitz. One of the things that makes Paris so special is its understated elegance. Hollywood, on the other hand, is all about over-the-top spectacle. Trying to combine these two aesthetics was always going to be a challenge, and unfortunately, it's a challenge that Paris didn't quite overcome. The Hollywood segments lacked the sophistication and nuance of the earlier Parisian-themed performances. The transition was jarring, and it left the audience feeling a bit bewildered.
The closing ceremony ended with a burst of fireworks over the Eiffel Tower, a fittingly spectacular end to a spectacular event. But as the smoke cleared and the lights came up, one question lingered in the air. Did Paris stick the landing? The answer, like most things in life, is complicated. The Parisian segments were, for the most part, well executed and visually stunning. The Hollywood segments, however, felt like a missed opportunity.
As the final firework faded over the Seine, the audience seemed unsure how to react, their faces a mix of awe and confusion. A smattering of applause echoed through the stadium, polite but lacking the unbridled enthusiasm that usually greets Olympic ceremonies, leaving an air of uncertainty. Some people, clearly charmed by the Parisian segments, were all smiles, their joy evident in their animated conversations. Others, left scratching their heads by the Hollywood detour, seemed more relieved that it was over, their expressions a mix of bewilderment and relief. Interviews with attendees revealed a city divided, with opinions as varied as the segments of the ceremony itself. "I loved the beginning," gushed a Parisian woman, her voice still giddy from the spectacle, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "It truly captured the spirit of our city," she added, her pride unmistakable. But a few rows over, a group of American tourists seemed less impressed, their faces reflecting their disappointment. "The Hollywood stuff felt cheesy," one grumbled, like something out of a theme park, lacking the authenticity we expected.
The mixed reactions were amplified online, with Twitter becoming a battleground of opinions. Hashtags like #ParisClosingCeremony and #HollywoodFlop trended worldwide as viewers took to the platform to share their thoughts, both positive and scathing. Some praised the ceremony's visual artistry, with one user tweeting, "The projections on the Eiffel Tower were absolutely breathtaking. #ParisClosingCeremony." Others lauded the musical performances, particularly the tribute to French cinema. But the criticism was just as vocal, with many questioning the Hollywood theme's relevance and execution. One thing was clear: Paris had sparked a global conversation, even if it wasn't the conversation they had intended.
So, how did Paris's Hollywood-infused finale stack up against previous Olympic closing ceremonies? Well, it's a tough act to follow, let's be honest. Over the years, we've seen some truly unforgettable closing ceremonies, each reflecting the unique character of its host city. These ceremonies set a high bar, not just in terms of scale and spectacle, but also in their ability to tell a story, to evoke emotion, and to leave a lasting impression on the world. They understood that a closing ceremony is more than just a farewell. It's a chance to celebrate shared values, to showcase national pride, and to create a memory that will endure long after the Olympic flame has been extinguished. While Paris certainly delivered on spectacle, some argue that it fell short in terms of narrative coherence and emotional resonance. Beijing 2008, for example, was a masterclass in storytelling through performance, weaving together ancient Chinese history, modern-day achievements, and a hopeful vision for the future. London 2012, on the other hand, was a joyous celebration of Britishness, a love letter to the nation's music, fashion, and quirky sense of humor. Paris, with its somewhat jarring juxtaposition of Parisian charm and Hollywood glitz, seemed unsure of what story it wanted to tell. The result was a ceremony that, while visually impressive, lacked a strong emotional core.
The Paris closing ceremony, like a flawed yet beautiful film, had its moments of brilliance and its moments of head-scratching confusion. The audience at times seemed lost in the spectacle, which reminded us that even the most well-intentioned productions can sometimes get lost in translation, particularly when trying to blend two distinct cultural identities. The fusion of French elegance with Hollywood flair was ambitious, but perhaps the biggest lesson to be learned is that less is often more. A minimalist approach can sometimes speak volumes. Paris, with its inherent beauty and cultural richness, didn't need to rely on Hollywood tropes to create a memorable spectacle. The city's charm is timeless, and a tighter focus on French artistry, innovation, and that certain je ne sais quoi would have been more than enough to enchant the world. The elegance of French dancers and the creativity of its artists could have shone brighter. In the end, The Paris closing ceremony served as a reminder that the Olympics is about more than just athletic achievement. It's about cultural exchange, shared values, and the power of human connection. The gathering of diverse cultures under one roof is a testament to unity. While Paris may have stumbled in its execution, its ambition and creativity deserve applause. The city's effort to bring something unique to the table was evident. And hey, there's always next time. Future events will surely learn from this experience and come back stronger. Until then, let's just agree that everyone could use a little more Parisian charm and maybe a baguette or two in their lives. After all, who can resist the allure of a freshly baked baguette in the heart of Paris?